going the distance, guys. It's time for Game 5, DK versus Newbee. Gods, it seems every time these teams play, they go the distance. They go long games. They go deciding games.
Yeah.
They exhaust the viewers, but in the best possible way.
Even the other day, they had their 3 best-of-3s, only one of those ending 2-0. So these two teams are as evenly matched as it comes, and even their games are just amazing to watch.
And we'll finally have a winner, I guess, in the recent... They were tied 4-4 after those 3 best-of-3s in terms of overall games played. So
yeah.
After this, we'll have somebody who's on top.
Yep.
Well, with that being said, guys, Game 5 is underway. We'll hop into the draft now. The winner, well, they've got some bragging rights here more than anything. They'll take home the CDEC New Star Championship, but I think more importantly, they're just gleaning a lot of information about each other, heading towards the international forum.
Batrider gets ignored. That's what I'm talking about. We've reached a stage where teams say, screw Batrider. Newbee want to go with the Tide this time around, which we haven't seen at all in the 4 games so far, I believe. Yeah, there's been no Tide Hunter, so this is our first game with the big Fishman, and DK once again first picked the Marana. They've especially don't care about the Batrider because they love this Ice Elder Titan.
10 seconds remaining.
Yes, they do. Chat's trying very hard to troll and failing very badly.
5 seconds remaining.
But
I even checked.
Yeah, I know. I checked as well, don't worry. Nice try, guys. It was a good effort by you. Better luck next time. But yeah.
That was well played. Like, you know, like you gotta give him credit. No, for actually Twitch chat to unite like that, like that's well played, Twitch chat.
By the way, the one thing that's different this game is Dire Side is first pick. I think it's been Radiant all 4 games.
Okay, I think they did another coin toss maybe. There was a lot of Chinese chatting going on in the lobby.
Yeah, I'm guessing it was a coin toss.
So someone chose first pick.
DK chose first pick, and I guess Newbee chose Radiant, it looks like. It says DKFP.
Yeah.
Yeah, DK chose first pick, and Newbee chose Radiant.
Yeah.
So, interesting.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, we'll see what the plan's going to be here. So, DK once again the Marana. Newbee are going to pick the Batrider still. That's with a Tide on their team. So, this puts... I mean, this kind of makes their lanes kind of a bit iffy. Like you're looking at potentially a Tide Hunter as a support hero, Batrider as a mid hero. Something needs to change. This can't just be a standard. I mean, Tide or Bat, they're kind of both your natural offlaners here. But...
Yeah, I guess the most standard way is the Tide offlane and the Bat mid. But then that puts it more into just a 1-core draft, which we haven't seen the teams wanting to do very often.
Yep.
If that's the case, then Anti-Mage is a possibility that's been the clincher for Newbee and DK at times in recent memory. Though we saw Elder Titan can make short work of Anti-Mage, even later on in the game, with the right carries backing him up.
I mean, maybe Newbee is thinking like picking carries against Elder Titan is just not a good idea, so maybe just deciding let's not get any whatsoever. But well, I mean they'll obviously need something for their kind of 4 position here, but I think just going for like your Ember Spirit, your Razors, your Morphlings is maybe even preferable, although Razor and your Vipers, but these heroes are mostly being banned out. DK going to go back for the Burning Morphling here as their 3rd pick, though.
Yeah, once again, they protect the pick by getting the Elder Titan first, and they also kind of scope out what Newbee are doing before they go for it. So I don't think we'll ever see more, at least in the current version, we're not going to see Morphling as like a first overall pick or first phase. Generally, it'll more be, a second phase or even last pick carry type material. So not quite back to TI2 status, though. I don't think anyone's complaining about that.
What does Newbee have in mind now?
5 seconds remaining.
This is a tough one. Like what? Like, not. I mean, carries in general just don't match up well against Elder Titan Nora. You need something that's not just going to melt, and I don't know what that's.
I mean, heroes that do better include like Dragon Knight, I would say, because he's got the big plus armor from the ultimate. Normally, you build BKB, so you don't care about magic damage.
DK Grubble. Oh, the other thing I was about to say is Lich is a good pick against Elder Time, which Newbee haven't done at all yet, because the Frost Time obviously being bonus armor, but...
The going apparition here. Do we see maybe a Moose Storm to round things out? DK they have 0 lockdown, and their supports are probably picked up at this point, so... I feel like this could be a Moose Storm game.
5 seconds
works well with the Ancient Apparition Bat. It's a really good pick-off lineup.
Not much carry, I guess. I feel like they need a carry just because you
like
can win.
Harder carry.
You can win the early to mid game, but you can't really go no carry lamps unless you're pushing power, which they have none of right now. If you're going to go like Tide Batrider plus Storm, you have 2 initiators with a semi carry in the Storm with no pushing power and also no late game. So like, how do you even win the? I just don't see any way to win the game with that lineup.
I guess you would try to starve them, but DK are expecting something different. They ban out the
I think
AM. There's also Weaver out there, which again DK have no lockdown at all, so Weaver is a possibility.
Good idea. Antimate, yeah, I think was also like that's kind of the angle that Newbee were going to angle for. Some kind of hard carry that either they need a really late game carry here, or they need a kind of pushing power here with this last pick. It will be the Weaver you mentioned, which is kind of both, like carry as well. Weaver with Link and Sesso can definitely push pretty hard.
Yeah, and goes very late. I mean, ultimately Weaver has a free insta boots of travel if he buys back, so I think that makes him a much scarier late game than people normally give him credit for. We'll see though. He's a decent sieging carry once he gets the Deso, and DK needs some lockdown here with this last pick. I don't know what it's gonna be, but they have Arrow. That's it. They'll get Rubik. They're light on stuns, gods, and against a Weaver, that's a concern.
Yeah, Rubik obviously great for stealing that Shikuchi here, so will be a Mushi Murana. Oh, I was about to say, the last pick Rubik kind of was not something Newbee were expecting. They were definitely expecting a Mushi hero last, but put the Murana mid, not a hero who can really get killed too easily by a Batrider unless you misplay it, and we'll see.
I feel like there's a lot of pressure on Mushi. If he doesn't make plays and set up kills early, Newbee's mid game is just so strong, and it's easy to execute. Ravage is pretty hard to mess up. Lasso with a Blink Dagger on bad is almost automatic, especially against DK's draft, which has very little mobility outside of the Morph lane. You've got Leap, I guess, but heroes like Lich and Rubik are very easy to catch with Lasso. I feel like DK's draft is much harder to execute than Newbee's, and a lot of it hinges on Mushi snowballing mid.
And Mushi has not had the best day, I would say. He's had some...
He hasn't really had the best few weeks. Not to say he's played awfully, he's had some decent performances, but he hasn't been that explosive Mushi that was throwing DK on his back when they first unveiled their new roster in quite some time.
Yeah, I think he played well in the Shadow Fiend game they won, but the other 3 games I feel was nothing fantastic or flashy. And even the Shadow Fiend game was like a kind of slow-paced farm game where there wasn't... I mean, you're playing Shadow Fiend, if you're getting your farm, you're doing well, so... We'll see how he does on the Murana here. Much more important hero as far as the initiation and hitting these spells goes, so...
Let's see how he does indeed. Ice. We'll introduce the teams now as we get ready for game number 5. He's going for an Observer Ward, but Hal's already here to usher him away. He won't drop the ward just yet.
How even uses Shikuchi to get here faster, so...
If he wants the ward, they're going to know where it is.
Yeah. It's not even about, like, if you can let him ward, but you know the exact spot and it makes dewarding easy. So he's going to continue to position himself here to prevent any Ice warding. Or at least try and scout it where it is. And they put an Observer Ward in this spot, which is not exactly a really useful spot, but again, this Observer Ward is just to kind of almost scout it where Ice puts his Observer Ward.
Yeah, and then at that point, he's got no wards left.
He's trolling them. He dropped the Observer Ward and shows that he doesn't have it. He's trying to pretend he warded this cliff here. Like that's
where did he actually drop it?
He dropped it back behind his T1 tower. It's on the ground here. This is like if you show up without the ward, the only spot he could have really put it is that cliff over here near Roshan.
This is like Mouse when before TI3 they would run the jungle lifestealer, and he'd always show himself without the Quelling Blade Stout Shield going like to check runes. So opponents would get confused. They just see the Stout Shield, not the Quelling Blade, and they'd be like, huh, I guess this lifestealer is going to be laning. And then he'd just go AFK jungle, and they'd abandon the off lane. So shenanigans for my side.
Well, they dropped down the center in the lane, which is maybe because they thought Ice put a lane ward. Or something along here, so maybe it works out. Maybe he baited that sentry ward, so...
Pretty clever. They still have an extra sentry to deward him, though.
And Lich will help him out, though, so it turns out he's not going to have any Observer Wards down bottom lane. One Lich sacrifice will help pull the wave back, and also Sansheng going to make it a bit harder by tanking the range creep so it doesn't die first, but Ice drogs aggro, and that's going to be a dead range creep.
Well, gods, we're going to see a dual lane on dual lane mid. This is the first time in a long time, and it's kind of an awkward lane for Newbee. Shadow Demon Batrider gets a Lich Morphling, which is a little bit more standard as far as your dual lane mids go. But yeah, so far, safe lane Weaver, dual lane mid.
I guess you can't really zone out the Tide in the off lane. Like, even with Rubik and Lich is not a good offensive support.
They don't have enough damage. That's the issue with the support Rubik, is he just doesn't have any damage.
Yep. So they just accept the fact that it's probably not going to work here. They do prevent Tide from... Actually, he wasn't really pulling here. There's no creep wave coming for some time, so... Rubik trying to contest this little pull through, and he will do so. Lamb just being annoying here at the top lane.
Yeah, Xiaohui's still getting a lot of experience. You compare that to Ice Ice. Ice actually holding his own for now, but I do feel there's more harassment potential by far bottom lane, especially with the Chilling Touch on Weaver.
Yeah. And Lamb's going to struggle to stay in this lane, because if he, like, when he does that, he takes a lot of damage. He's used through all his Tengos already, so if Xiaowei goes for another pull and Lamb has to prevent it, he's going to just tank a lot of damage.
They do nuke Mu a bit mid lane as he continues to pile up the sticky napalm on these two. Looks like he might let the charges go. Oh, keeps them flying. Burn and MMY just sitting way back. Not really in danger of dying, but more just tired of the harassment.
Yeah. I guess without before Magic 6 come up, he can freely use this. Magic 6 is coming for burning, so once he sees that, he may be not quite as liberal with his napalm usage.
Yeah, interestingly, they didn't end up running the Mushi Mirana mid, which is normally where we've seen him go with the few times he's played Mirana, but they want to run the Lich +1 mid lane. I guess the Morphle's just the more natural partner.
Well, defensive disruption will prevent this gank from doing too much.
Can actually turn around on Lanham. He's got to be careful.
Frost Blast will slow him too much as well, so a bit of damage, prevent any chase.
They go for the first blood, but very strong defensive dual lane here with the Shadow Demon Bat, and can't really find the open.
And during this entire time, Banana just keeps stacking as well. He got the stack at 152, he'll get another one now, and then he'll just go back mid to keep protecting Mu as needed. So there'll be a lot of farm waiting for Mu, and Mu stacks the medium camp, so stacks are plenty. Actually, no, misses
too
it.
late.
But,
just
yeah.
like a half second late there.
Tough stuff, but Newbee, I think, getting a bit more out of the laning stage. They got Zhao 8 getting plenty at top lane. Sanchenk's getting pulls. He's going to hit level 3 now, so I feel as a whole Newbee have a slight edge in the lanes.
Yeah, level 3 already on HI Person. That's a pretty good start, and in terms of their ability, like what they're going to get elsewhere, Lich is getting a little bit more in the lanes, but I think Newbee will make up for that and then some with the jungle farm. And already we see Mu just cleaning up the stack.
Yeah. He even goes back home, so it gives Banana some experience at mid lane, but Mu running out of regen, needs his bottle back, and actually probably will go, yeah, he's going to go all the way back to Fountain as well.
Yeah, and they can just keep on doing this. Give the bat the lane mid, let the Shadow Demon stack, then bat goes and clears them, and Shadow Demon takes over the lane while he heals. So it's just a nice little efficient play by them. Meanwhile, DK are doing some stacking of their own, though.
Yep.
Everybody's stacking. As we see this camp getting triple stacked as well.
Efficiency definitely the name of the game. Ice scouts it out with an Astral Spirit, but knowing the stacks going on doesn't really mean you can do much to prevent it, so...
Yeah, Newbee have Anchor Smash and Bat Rider, and even Shadow Poison. They've got a great lineup to clear stacks. DK are not very good at clearing stacks. Yeah. They can see them, but I don't know if they can stop them. Mid lane, Ice will march in, and they want to go for a first blood attempt here. Where's that disruption? Mu's already very low. They can't even get off the disruption. Too quick on the trigger with the waveform, and first blood to burning.
Yeah.
They even had an observer ward here, so they saw the haste ring get picked up.
That looked bad from Dana, but I think he was actually trying to time the disruption to dodge the waveform, because that's the only way you save Bat Rider there. If you disrupt too early, he just waveforms after the disruption. If you disrupt too late, obviously he dies, which is what happened. So he was trying to time the disruption with the waveform to dodge it. So
yeah, I'm just surprised
you can't really blame Banana for that.
Yeah, I'm just surprised that they were not aware of the gank, because they have an observer ward that sees the bottom rune, and
yeah.
Still Ice takes the haste, runs mid, and they never even...
He ran like all the way back bottom first. Like when he threw the Astral Spirit at the neutrals, he had the haste at that point. So it was actually, I think, caught him by surprise that when he went bottom and then went back mid lane afterwards. But now Ice as well as Lamb maybe in some trouble.
They're gonna find Lanham easily brought down. Ice is probably dead here as well. He's chasing for Mu. He will get the kill. He'll pay with his life a 2-for-1.
That's Centaur stun coming into play for Team DK.
Mu actually got denied by the neutral, so they didn't even get the kill.
It looked like the Elder Titan punch got him, but not the case.
Yeah, it really did look like the punch got him. Like he died the second the club connected, but bad luck for DK there. And they also didn't jack the stack.
Yeah, this stack won't be stacked any further as there is a Sentry Ward blocking it, as AA will go for it. Won't be able to get it. And we'll see what... Lamb's making his way down there, but I don't know how much he can do to contest this one.
Banana gets thrown back into the river. No cliff attempt here. And he'll just retreat back to the jungle, continue stacking. The other thing is that, like you mentioned, Xiaohui's getting a lot out of the off lane. Even though Ice has been a huge nuisance bottom, I feel like Xiaohui's got the much bigger potential to have an impact over the next like 5 to 8 minutes or so. He's gonna have Ravage soon. They have Ancient Apparition ult not too far off, and well, as we all know, Ravage can easily break the mid game open.
DK's going to steal the neutral stack, though. That's actually really nice. They bring in Burning as well as Ice.
They were just about to farm it, too. They were just bringing in everybody to farm it. Bat was on his way. The entire team was inbound, but DK are just too quick.
Burning got most of it as well, so nice little neutral jack there.
That's all of Newbee's hard work down the drain, and that now DK have the Lich denies. That's some guaranteed experience. The neutrals they're nice, but only if you get them. Burning finds another kill. Clean up the Ancient Apparition as well.
Yeah, really nice play from Burning here. Normally you'd expect, I mean, Morphling is a farmer, but he says, I'll farm some heroes, I'll farm some many neutrals here, and gets a lot. Banana mid lane into a lot of trouble here. Faye bought one more right click.
He blocked him! He blocked him! Got that, let that extra auto attack go off, and I think Banana lives without the body block there, but
yeah.
Newbee. Miscue after miscue as DK jack their stacks. They find kills on the roaming Morphling from the mid lane. They get the kill on the Shadow Demon. And now it's slowing down the Bat Blink Dagger. It's just putting pressure on the mid-game performance a lot more.
Yeah. Bat with the 2 deaths is actually not farming all too well. As a solo hero, solo mid, not really off-lane kind of Bat Rider, you normally want that Blink Dagger that little bit sooner, but he's not going to find it at this rate, so... Will be tough from AA still stacking. They've been non-stop stacking this big camp.
Oh,
move! Burning some work this game. Like he's not only been farming but getting kills and important kills.
Well, this is also the dual lane Lich factor. Like having the extra levels, and Lich just had his ult. Just casually lobs out a Chain Frost. You don't expect a support to be level 6 at sub 8 minutes, but yeah, Burning has done a lot of work.
Yeah. Well,
maybe it is the return of the TI2 Morphling. Albeit this one is getting some help. But
yeah, he's being so much more aggressive here, stealing the enemy neutral stack. Now he's going to find a neutral stack of his own. One more wave form in a second, and oh, this is just crazy farm for Burning.
Oh, How is committing to Ice here. The Spirit's cooling down very soon. He gets the kill. No mana. The time lapse out. Oh no. Oh no. He doesn't have the mana. He's going to Sakuchi again. He doesn't know where to run.
Yeah.
Die to the tower. Well, I think he was out of... No, MMY's level 8. I think he was in experience range.
Yeah,
oh boy.
I think he got that.
That's a lot of... That's a Weaver just bought and used his Midas. The Lich is the same level as the Weaver with the Midas.
Yeah, Lich highest level in the game. Well, tied highest.
Tied for the highest level in the game. He's out-leveling the Morphling mid who's been racking up kills.
Radiant's top tower
That is a costly death.
I mean, speaking of highest level in the game, one of those heroes is Mushi at top, who has been very, very quiet. He's got Aquila, Phase Boots, building towards what looks to be a Midas. Could be a Maelstrom, of course. But...
Holy shit, Mushi's playing this game.
Yeah, exactly.
He's just been AFK farming top.
He's used Moonlight Shadow the one time, but yeah, he has a TP scroll, so it's surprising he doesn't... he could have probably saved Elder Titan bottom lane with a TP in, so... I don't know if he just picked up the TP scroll now, but Mirana's definitely a hero, especially you hit level 7, level 8, you want to go help out in these fights, so Mushi electing to just keep on farming. He is pressuring the tier 1 tower, which is about to go down, with one more actual push in this lane, but not coming to any clashes just yet.
Yeah, meanwhile for Newbee, they just got to get their blinks. Moose was delayed by the stolen creep stack, and then further by the deaths. So, 1 and 3. I mean, honestly, he could have had like a 7-minute blink if he didn't die and if they farmed the stack, but now he'll be lucky to have it by 11, 12 minutes. This was not... The game plan for Newbee was, I wouldn't say entirely reliant on this, but it was heavily built around just getting those stacks farmed quickly and letting Moose start to create space around the 8 to 10 minute mark, and we still haven't seen it.
Yeah, just slows down everything else around the team as well, which is kind of relying on that blink to get kills. So we haven't seen any Ravages as well. Shall we opting to go just for a Bracer Magic Wand? I thought he would have done a bit better in this offlane. He didn't get as much farm as he maybe could have. I guess. I mean,
he spent a decent amount of time off the lane. He was rotating mid and trying to help out.
Yeah. And the other thing is, Rubik Mirana, sure, it's a dual lane, and you think, okay, Ty can do it. I mean, he does well at the early levels, but they've got a lot of magic damage, which Kraken doesn't help against the damage block so much there. So
that's true.
You've got a level 9 Mirana, telekinesis with an Arizon that's a guaranteed kill. Great last year on the top tier on tower from Mushi, and that's 2k gold for him. It's no Midas purchase just yet, so it looks like we may just see a straight Maelstrom. No, he buys some Midas.
Yeah.
Just the tower gold.
I think with the way this game's developed, you go dual Midas and Newbee don't have the best late game. They have really good initiation and decent late game, but it puts pressure on Newbee's mid-game fights to find lots of kills and clean kills with that. As they find Xiao Wei, they arrow to start this off. They've got the level 4 Starstorm. He could Ravage. He's just going to get dropped down by the telekinesis. Will end up falling.
There's the rotation, and Shadow Demon under this tier 1 tower just has to let this go, so... Another tower going to be going DK's way. They're starting to snowball here in Game 5, the decider of the CDEC Grand Finals.
So evenly matched over the course of the series, but this might be the most one-sided start of the series, gods. They're up 4.5k gold, 4k experience, and Newbee just... It's like, it's not only that, it's just Newbee's entire game plan was completely peeled apart.
Yeah.
Like, their whole game plan was get a really fast Blink Dagger and Bat, and then just go fight with Ancient Apparitional, Bat, Blink, and Ravage, and the Bat just now got Blink. This could be the turnaround, though, for Newbee.
Weaver needs to be careful bottom. He does not have time-lapse. One telekinesis would be the death of him, but not going to get caught out. He was just using his time-lapse there to harass Ice, doing like what Eternal Envy used to a lot of, which is like spam everything, then time-lapse out to get your mana back, but does mean it makes it a lot harder to take a fight and defend now, because there is no time-lapse for this fight for Hao.
Well, Lanham's a little bit more forward here, but the rest of the team's sitting back. They can go in with the Gush to start this off. They may get the Rubik. They'll go for a lasso, but a quick reaction, tossing him back, forcing Mu to really commit if he wants this kill. Ancient Apparitional coming in. The Chain Frost will start bouncing. It hits pretty nicely, and well, Mu nearly brought down. He will live for the time being at about 100 HP. Everybody low. Nobody dead just yet. The Rubik, the only one down so far. They could not quite find Mu with the Astral.
Yeah.
He will retreat out in the end. So, but it takes 5, and meanwhile, Burning's farming all over the place.
You can't chase with the Moonlight Shadow being used. The sentry's on the ground if they stand and fight, but DK just not going to have any of that. And this sentry would actually in range of the Observer Ward too, so... Yeah, Newbee going to use a sentry just to de-ward another sentry because of their Observer Ward, but the ping comes out, and I think DK know this Observer Ward's here, so... That's some vision which DK can play around or just look to deny. And they're going to drop another sentry? Yeah, you bet.
You betcha. I still think that's okay for DK. They lose the Rubik. The Blink Dagger was
going for a kill. That was some manly play. Ice Blast! Oh, snipes the Lich!
Did anyone get the experience for that?
AA should.
Okay. Oh yeah, AA. That's right.
He's level 7, so...
Yeah, that's good. I feel like a farmed AA is... That's probably Newbee's main damage dealer after the Weaver, if this game goes late. So getting the AA some kills and some extra gold is quite important for them.
Yep. Xiao makes his way top, and we'll continue to farm. Try also just contest Burning's farm to some extent, who does have Perseverance, 1900. Probably going to be looking at a very fast Lincoln Sphere timing with the good start he's had.
And at that point, Newbee don't really have much on the Morphling. Your 4-step is a long way off for Mu, and even then, you might lasso him, but they don't have a proper spell like Doom or a Silence that can prevent him from morphing. So their ability to kill the Morphling is very limited this game.
Yep.
Except I guess Ancient Apparition Ice Blast was the main thing. That
yeah, the AA pick was definitely a counter to the Morphling. Maybe not like a hard counter by any means, but it's a support here that matches up well against Morphling.
Rubik's coming in again. Lanham has that stolen Sakuchi and is hunting Banana. He'll die behind the tower. No, he doesn't want to commit that much.
There's a sentry ward for him. He almost walked in range of that and got disrupted, but even if he gets disrupted, haven't got the best follow-up for this, and Lamb is going to get a nice D-ward off. That's another Observer Ward being taken out. Newbee is just completely blind right now. I don't even think they can buy more Observer Wards. They're all on cooldown right now, so they got nothing.
They're still fainting in bottom lane like they want to go. Yeah, Observer's on cooldown for a minute and a half, and nothing in the inventory.
They're trying to blow up this Weaver here with like a Shikuchi telekinesis into an arrow. They can definitely kill the Weaver, but Sentry Ward may scout it out, gets the telekinesis.
They finally found him. They toss him back into the Spirit,
no
but
arrow in time.
No follow-up.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, at this point, they're not even fully committed to this. They just have the Morphling parked mid. He's farming against Tide. You're happy to trade that if you're DK, and, well, Batrider was pushing top out a bit, but here we go again. Ice going in with the Spirit. He has been disrupted. Arrow comes through. Banana walks directly into the arrow. Unfortunate, it's nighttime. Didn't see it coming until the last second. As Hao now tries to chase, but he needs backup to do it. Mu lassoing up MMY. He does have his ultimate. Will he get it off in time? He does. Tosses the Chain Frost. It only bounces twice, though. Not the best. Ice now the one on the run. Just kidding. He's the one with the club. He's the one on the chase. Hao. Well, Flame Break is going to help keep him alive as Mu covers his old friend's retreat. Still Mu chasing forward, wants to finish off. Ice will get the kill on the Elder Titan. That's a pretty important one. More TPs coming in. They've brought in the entire squad, even the Shadow Demon joining the fray. But the rest of DK are going to back off. And still, once again, Burning, not coming to fights. DK are losing heroes and losing these fights slightly, but they're doing it 4v5.
Yeah, it's... DK not going to be too worried, although, I mean, for Newbee, it's like they'll take these kills, they'll take these favorable fights as things do go their way until Moo gets caught at mid lane. Telekinesis arrow. Ice Blast is coming in. Moo maybe not even going to die. 1 or 2 more right click. They lose Mushi. Doesn't get the experience, the Bat Rider, unfortunately, and Rubik very close to going down, but the Ice Blast needed 1 or 2 more ticks.
Yeah, that was almost... If he got one more auto attack off on Rubik, they both shatter there.
And he almost lived too. That Flame Break, very, very well placed, but the pushback not quite enough.
And now we'll have a pause here, as I guess we get a second to collect our thoughts and scope out the overall state of the game. Still DK up by a solid margin, up 5k gold. Experience has tipped back towards even, though. And elsewhere, item progression-wise, Weaver working towards his Linkens. Morphling almost has his Linken Spear. The Tide Blink is coming soon. The Bat Force Staff was just completed, so he just bought the Force before dying. Ancient Apparition, nowhere near an Ag. So Newbee and... They're pretty much in team fight ready, but they're not really getting much late game access right now. Whereas DK, I think their progression to late game is looking better.
Yeah, I think DK don't want to take team fights so much, and that's where they're probably just trying a bit too hard bottom lane to force the issue unnecessarily. They still don't have the mech. Lich has been on this Buckler Hedress for some time, but a couple deaths in a row has not been getting any farms, so if they waited for the mech, maybe they could have been playing like this, although there is still Ice Blast, but... I think for DK, they're just being a bit too aggressive at the bottom lane because of how good an early start they had. I mean, definitely to some extent they can fight with Mirana level 11 with the Ice, Max, Natural Order, and Astral Spirit, but they got to be a bit careful they don't give Newbee too much to work with, too many kills and too much space.
Well, gods, they don't call him Ice Cubed for nothing. He's got to get 1 ring for each ice. The triple ring of regen build.
Okay.
I guess we'll see the mech pipe combo coming out soon.
I think it's just the pipe.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
it's
mech
kind of an odd
Lich.
way to build it. 'Cause normally you want to complete something, like either the hood or the headdress.
Yeah, maybe he bought it when he was dying to spend all his money.
Yeah.
Is my guess.
Yeah, it'll work out fine. It looks funny right now.
Like you say, the Ice Cube build.
Well, for now, pause at 17 minutes. I think Newbee can turn this around, but they need, once they get the Tide Blink, they need to start finding some pickoffs. Like, if they just sit back and let Morphling and Mirana get really fat, I see them having trouble as this goes late. Yeah, you've got nice initiation from Lasso, but DK have a dual core, and you've got a Linkens on the Morphling, so not the easiest to wrangle.
Yeah, Moose doing pretty well in the bat. Like, similarly, Weaver's farming pretty well, but in every sense, DK is just doing that a little bit better. Morphling's out farming Weaver. Moran's out farming bad. I guess, I mean, that's something... DK kind of lacked that good initiation, though. And that's where mid to late game, like, DK have the carry advantage, but Newbee have not just the Bat Rider, but also a Tide Hunter, so... Even the nerf Bat Rider, like, he got ignored in that first pick space, but this hero can just win you games.
We'll see. It wasn't even an early pick, that, either. It was a third pick. Yeah, in the second phase, so... Plenty of opportunities for both teams to ban it if they wanted to.
Well, MMY reconnects and we're ready to go. Game 5, the decider in the CDEC New Star Cup Grand Finals. Newbee came through the winner bracket. They beat DK earlier in this tournament, but DK took the road less traveled and once again in the Grand Finals.
And we're back underway, guys. The pause is over. Mech coming for MMY, so they'll have pipe and mech at like the... I want to say like 21-minute mark. And Newbee are pretty magic damage focused. Like until the Weaver, House gone Midas and now into Lincoln. So the Desolator is at least 6 to 8 minutes away. And that's assuming that he has free farm and doesn't die too much. Which means, well, you get mech pipe and that's almost all of Newbee's magic damage negated.
Yeah, your 5-man gets pretty scary there. Batrider is one of those great heroes at breaking up the 5-man. Like you blink Lasso 1 and you use pipe or mech, like you probably don't even save that hero if there's 5 heroes focusing him, and then you've kind of used your pipe mech not to like negate teamfight AoE damage. So, in some sense, Batrider does match up okay against this, but if DK have their carries farmed on top of this, then I think it's tough.
Newbee are smoked, and they want to make something happen here with the Blink Force online now for Moo, Shao 8. So no blink of his own though. Hal's in position top lane. He might be the one that baits this.
Yeah.
Let's see if DK are going to fall for it. They have the Sakuchi stolen on Lanham.
Radiant's bottom
He could
tower
easily
is
reveal
under
this, but he's not in
attack.
position to do so, and they're going to look to go on Bernie, but he's got a Lincoln Sphere online.
also
Replicate's
a
back
replicate,
pretty far.
yeah.
They've got to focus him down quickly. That is a difficult gank, and Bernie just
Radiant's
jumps
bottom
away.
tower
I
is
think-
under attack.
Hoping that they can at least get a tier 1 tower out of this,
Radiant
and they are
structures
trading for
are
bottom lane, but
fortified.
DK may even try come top and defend on top of this. They can take this tower and maybe defend top lane.
Radiant's bottom
So far,
tower
no
is
sign of
fallen.
any TPs.
Dire's top
Yeah, tower will
is
fall.
under
Newbee
attack.
getting a trade, but
Dire's
you know, there's your
structures are
completed hood for Ice
fortified.
Ice Ice. The rest of the pipe not far off, and you got to imagine DK are going to start looking to take these fights very soon.
How gets the tower last hit? This is,
Dire's
at this
top
point, he's
tower
the
has
most
fallen.
important newbie here as far as farm priority goes. He needs not just his Lincolns, but whatever item comes after that for damage. And DK tried to engage in this top lane using the Moonlight Shadow, but the rest of Newbee backed off. They left
Radiant's
Weaver there
bottom
alone to
tower
kind of
is
finish
under
off the
attack.
tower and push out the lane, but he TPs out from the trees above the tower, and Newbee, a good trade for them. They're just trying to avoid the fight now, especially now there's a mech on the... Actually, no, Lich has not got the mech out. It's coming out in the courier, but for now they just wanted to farm and get this next item or two up, although this is also, I mean, it's not just Newbie farming. It's burning now with 1300 gold, so Ethereal Blade is going to become a quick reality for Newbee.
Yeah, not to mention Mushi, Yasha up. I think one of the few Maranas we've seen who hasn't gone for the early Maelstrom. We saw the Desolator last game, but that seemed like a kind of special case with the Death Prophet physical damage that you want to buff up a bit. Yeah, he's gone for the... This is like your more traditional Marana build, just going Yasha into BKB, and Mushi going back to basics.
It's a bit
I mean,
lighter on
could
the
be
DPS.
Sanjin Yasha,
Yeah.
but I
No,
highly doubt it.
I highly doubt too, but yeah, a bit lighter on the DPS, and we'll see how things work out here. Moo in the jungle, he's getting somewhat scattered out. Lamb looking for a Shikuchi telekinesis. DK, only 3 heroes and a replicate, which is going to expire, so no more replicate for them in this fight. Burning alone at top lane, pressuring the tier 2, so even if they take a fight, trade somewhat evenly, again it's going to be Burning, farming, and even pressuring a tower at this stage.
Yeah, the Weaver has not pressured any towers.
Radiant's
He's...
top tower is
I guess
under
with the
attack.
threat of the Rubik Sakuchi
scared,
ganks,
yeah.
he's scared. Now he's got Lincolns, but still you can break that and lift him. It's not very difficult.
Yeah, Shikuchi into telekinesis at Sepanara is a dead Weaver, so I think rightfully so. He's not being too aggressive unless his teammates are nearby. So he'll get his Lincolns up now and continue to farm top lane. And normally you go towards your damage item next, generally the Desolator. Every now and then some of the players like Sylar like to go Lincolns and BKB, but I feel they'll just lack damage too much if he goes that kind of a build.
Yeah, I mean, there's a pipe nearly complete, so you can't really count on the magic damage. You need a Weaver that... Even the physical damage of the Weaver, though, I don't know. It's a level 3 ice armor already. The plus that this Desolator, even once he gets it, only removes the ice armor. It doesn't even get into the base armor that remains.
No.
As a gank attempt, a smoke gank attempt mid, it was foiled, burning, waving in, and then spotting out a few heroes, just casually retreats.
At this point, Moo's not been able to find too much using the lassos here. Burning actually goes back in, waveform forward, has a replicate though, so the fact the Lincolns is there means you have to break the Lincolns and then kind of simultaneously lasso him, which is...
And then you have to kill him before...
Yeah. He morphs strength and just replicates out.
You need the Ancient Apparition to ult it, like, while that's happening, and I think you need the damage from Ravage
Dire's
to
top tower is
kill
under
him off
attack.
quickly enough. As odd as that sounds, it's a decent nuke, 325. They'll need every bit.
You almost need to engage with the Ravage, because then you can actually break the Lincolns and get the lasso off. Because if you try to engage with lasso, you have to proc the Lincolns first, and as soon as his Lincolns proc, he's going replicating home before you lasso. So
Yeah.
engaging with Ravage to kill Morphling is almost the way to go if you're trying to like.
And you
smoke
need the
gank
Ancient
him.
Apparition ult it, like, the second the Ravage does. Because
Yeah.
otherwise he just strength morphs, so, 800 HP before you even...
Yep.
Before you even can prevent him from strength morphing anymore.
Anyway, it's not a kill they end up going for, but I guess maybe something more later down the lines if he's ever solo pushing or farming if they want to try and gank him out. But
Radiant's bottom
see
tower is under attack.
how just continue to kind of split push farm. He's already up to 1900 gold after finishing the Lincoln, so he's actually on par with Morphling. He was a bit behind earlier, but he's been farming a bit more efficiently as of late. And Batrider's caught up to Mirana, so Newbee are kind of clawing their way back into this game. Or at least staying even on the gold graph, and the experience kind of falling off, but you've got Batrider Tidehunter. They've got the superior team fight in that sense.
Well, they're not finding very many team fights. That's the big worry here. And DK have the answers for it, and with the pipe mech to a certain extent. And soon the BKB for burning. He's getting close. Has the Ogre Club. Let's see. Mithril Hammer at the base. Yeah, he just needs the recipe. Yeah. DK are... They're still ahead by... the pipe and the BKB, I guess, are the two items that add up to that pretty much.
They've got the pipe mech. It's kind of a weird timing for DK. Like, normally you think, you got your pipe mech, let's go push, or 5-man. I guess they could maybe Roche, but for DK, it's like, well, we've got pipe mech, but we just want to farm, because we've got
they almost have
two carries.
As well. So.
Yeah, I think that E-Blade's largely what they're waiting for right now. Not to mention Mushi does have BKB 5 gold away, so he'll just sit around the base and wait for it.
Ancient Apparition ult thrown out towards the Roshan pit as DK were suspected of going for Roche, but Newbee were not correct in that. DK are actually just content to farm and stall the game. 24 minutes in, it's just a passive state, and I just don't know how Newbee shake it up. It's Morphling's very hard to gank. The Mirana's been off the map most of the time. The other 3 heroes are like Ice is farming their jungle whenever Newbee are showing top, and otherwise he's just sitting back with his team. They're just not giving many kill opportunities away to Newbee.
Yeah. At similar time, like, Mu was doing some farm in the enemy jungle as well, but definitely DK having a bit more map control for the time being.
And they're thinking Roche now with that map control. They pushed in the bottom lane. They throw the ice armor on Ice, and into the pit they go. Shotgun's going to be picked up right now, and if Newbee want to contest this, they got to go very quickly. They'll throw out an Ancient Apparition ult, but it's honestly too early. It's pretty much going to be worn off by the time the heroes get here, so the shatter chance will be gone.
It may just force DK out of the pit, although for now they want to stay in. They can mech after it, and there we go, back to full HP, so...
I think that early ultimate is going to make this a tough fight for Newbee. They do still have Ravage, though, and DK don't have to go Roche now. They can just chill.
Batrider's kind of like the king of Roshan pit fights, though, as well. He can... so good at isolating heroes, pulling away, but the Astral Spirit scouts at the bat, who's already used Firefly, so... DK, yeah, they're going to back off, wait for Firefly to go in cooldown, then maybe go back in the Roshan pit.
Yeah, running will make the replicate. He'll start applying pressure top, and if you leave this top lane alone in about a minute or so, it'll be pushed to the tier 2, and someone will have to come defend.
DK decide, look, let's not lose a game over a Roshan when we're already ahead. Or not even lose a game, but lose a fight. So they'll smoke up. Looks like Banana could be in some trouble here. The Observer will not scout this out. And coming his way is a lot of DK heroes. So yeah, Telekinesis, easy pick off, but...
Arrow's actually going to completely miss. The Starfall will as well, but they don't need either.
Just a Shadow Demon, though. And
they still find the kill. Can they actually defend mid? DK are rotating in. Looks like they want to do so.
They'll defend. This T1 mid tower pretty useful to keep up, considering you're 26 minutes in, you're trying to secure Roshan against a team who might want to contest it. So if you have buybacks, you want to be able to TP right to the Roshan pit. That's actually... Newbee have only taken 1 tower this entire game. That's... It's kind of a scary thought, though, because if Newbee win a fight, they take all these towers, and those are just money bags waiting to be claimed.
Yeah, the tower gold you can only take once. This hero gold, creep gold is it's gone forever. If you miss the opportunity, you can't grab it at a later date. But looks like DK are finding their opening now. Deso was just picked up on Weaver.
If we can get this T1 tower, that would be nice.
It would be a great time to fight, but unfortunately, already the Aegis has been claimed, and they look to go on Hal.
That's a pretty good trade for Newbee. Like, obviously, it's favorable for DK, the actual net outcome, but it's... Newbee could not contest Roshan. It was just getting... The fight over there was just not going to be in their favor without the Shadow Demon, especially.
Yeah, 5v4. And also, DK just with the really strong teamfight items. The BKB, the pipe, and the mech. And not to mention a very fat Morphling. Well, who can instantly make it a 5v3 if you misplay.
Things for Newbee will continue to drag things out. The late game does not look fantastic for them against the Morphling as well as Elder Titan, but like, one team fight, one Batrider pick off, and you never know. Morphling just one of the heroes who's better suited for versing Batrider. Has more strength which you can use, has replicate, has also just the natural Lincoln Sphere purchaser, unlike a lot of carries. So
I honestly think for Newbee, the most important hero to get farmed after the Weaver is the Ancient Apparition now. And he's only got a point booster. Getting an Ags for him is it's a dream at this point. That point booster is it's taken him like 10 minutes, 12 minutes to pick up a point booster and 500 gold.
Yeah, at this rate, it's like 40 minutes plus Aghanim Scepter.
At the same time, if you ever get it, it can turn the game. So.
Tower Gold will help him out, and Hal's actually pressuring this top tier 2. TP coming in from your Elder Titan to start things off, but there's no glyph. This is a dead tier 2, actually. So Newbee trade tier 2 bottom for tier 2 top.
Oh no,
he backs off.
Maybe not. He's He's been caught here. Shotgun's not going to work because there is the Lincoln Spear.
He doesn't even go for the tower last hit.
Yeah, they break Bernie's Lincolns, but he gets the tower denied first. And well, now Moo. His Lincoln Spear was removed earlier, so he's going to be a bit nervous. He will time-lapse back in and continue clean up the wave. But yeah, that's space created for the Ancient Apparition more than anything, I feel.
Okay. And Ancient Apparition, like you say, like the dream of the Ag Scepter, he's not going to get farming priority. Hao says, I'm taking this. But I think it's okay. Hao can still benefit a lot more from some additional items on top of this.
They will now retreat. DK farming their woods. Maelstrom picked up by your Mirana will work her way towards the Mjolnir, and they don't really have the best lineup to like throw a Mjolnir on somebody, but it's just a. I guess Morphling's okay. It's just a good item in general.
And this is going to become the burning show soon if you just let him get maxed out, which is it looks like where this game's potentially headed. DK kind of like Morphling's your high ground sieging, but he doesn't really high ground siege until he gets more big items. You go for the shotgun, that's your burst damage. That's not your high ground sieging. And how? Backdoors at T1 bottom tower.
This guy is the master of guerrilla warfare. He's taken all the towers, it feels like.
Yeah, even the ones that get denied is still just at least take away some of DK's map control and get some gold for your team. And he's got 3.3k gold, so he's starting to get scary and scary. And they just don't want to fight into the Aegis, so if they can wait for the Aegis to expire, it's probably for the best for Newbee.
And with all those tower last hits, he has actually pulled ahead of Burning, albeit by a very slight margin.
And again, we may see a tier 2 for a tier 2, so as far as Newbee concerned, they're facing a DK team who's ahead, who has an Aegis. Trading tier 2s is in their favor.
The split push, then the trades continue. It reminds me of one of those games of chess where it's like, yeah, I'll trade a knight for a bishop, and then you see players swapping rooks, maybe even trade your queens, and all of a sudden there's just not many pieces left on the board. The towers are quickly melting here.
Well, in chess, generally trading pieces when you're ahead is an okay proposition, because you stay pretty far ahead, but in Dota 2, the margin suddenly becomes a smaller margin as far as like the difference in the two teams overall, like percentage-wise in net worth, so... Yeah,
you're trading in the opposite direction.
Yeah. In chess,
everybody's getting a bit more instead of you're taking pieces away.
Exactly. Yeah, in chess you have limited pieces. In Dota 2, it's you're increasing, have unlimited potential farm. Yeah, obviously, you're limited by item slots.
Having a 10-9 advantage is not as big as a 3-2.
Yeah.
And well, the teams are going towards that 10-9 the more they trade. So Newbee will be pretty happy with it. For anyone who follows our tangled logic.
Yeah, I know.
It makes sense to you and me. Like, we know what we're saying.
I'm good. I got you.
I don't know if we've communicated it clearly to the viewers. Well, it's okay, man. As long as you've got my
not our forte.
That I don't know what our forte is then if we're casters, man. Looking good on camera, I guess.
Yeah. I'm just a booth babe. That's why I get invited to TI.
Oh yeah.
Well, Hal's spent money for a BKB, so probably a good item choice. BKB on Batrider as well, so they've got multiple BKBs. They've got a late game mech on Zhao. He went back for this after the Blink Dagger, and he's got making his way towards a refresh roll. So, haven't really seen. Have we seen a single Ravage? I don't think we have.
Zero Ravage. Yeah. Zero Ravage game, unless he ravaged at the fountain when we weren't paying attention and nobody else noticed. So, yeah, pretty sure zero Ravage game. Okay. Is Xiao 8 gonna jump the gun like the black hole from Banana last game? Is he gonna get impatient?
Yeah. Like the first one you finally get, and then it's like, uh-oh, that wasn't a good one. Yeah, but the Aghanim Scepter is actually happening, and not the 40-plus minute one. He suddenly found a ton of farm. Like, not more than farm, he found tower gold. How split pushing all these towers helped out the AA more than anyone. And that's where we see this AA going to have an Ag Scepter and just 800 gold. That's a really important item pick up against Morphling, but Morphling, seeing this coming, is going to buy a BKB, which helps a little bit.
Arrow splits the uprights earlier, and now Newbee are going to push back out. They make an aggressive move up the mid lane, and DK, they'll retreat. Just continue to control the enemy jungle, waiting for the, I guess, now maybe they wait for Roche number 2. This Aegis will be reclaimed, and BKB was picked up on Burning. There's just really no hurry for DK. I think they look at this like, ultimately they might have the better initiation, but we have the dual core, and we still have very good team fight. Plus we have Rubik who can, with a Blink Dagger, who can steal Ravage, who can steal Ancient Apparition Ult and give us more carries and better team fight potentially.
And you just look like Burning's probably already thinking like for the 60+ minutes. He's probably already like dreaming of this 6-slot Morphling, selling his Ethereal Blade, being that right-click carry that he was back in, was it game game 3 that no game 4 that DK won previously. Yeah, sorry, no, game 2. Game 2. What am I talking about? I'm getting my games muddled up. Game 2 when he got completely 6-slotted, had the Elder Titan on his team, and that seems to be where we're heading. DK being on the Dire side have the advantage. Roshan will be on their side. Even when Morphling gets 6-slotted, having an Aegis on an Elder Titan makes a big difference. So he has the 2 lives to work with because you need this Elder Titan to stay alive with the natural order.
Yeah, like you said, he's already dreaming. There's still a while to go before we get to that stage. But
Burning's already envisioned it. You dream it, you do it. The WPC way.
this is CDEC though. God, you've gotten your leagues mixed up here.
If you can't envision the 6 slot, you don't get the 6 slot.
Another godsism.
Be one with the 6-slotted Morphling.
Well, Bernie is definitely one with the creeps right now. At 335, casual 10 CS made it as a dual lane mid roaming Morphling for the laning stage. Yeah, he's one with the creeps, man.
He had I mean, to be fair to Burning, he's transitioned into this super late game farming Morphling, but his early game was very high impact. It was Mushi who was farming in the early game. Like, Burning was playing like the Mirana, while Mirana was playing like the farming Morphling.
And now they're both getting their creep on. Mjolnir completed, and well, I mean, maybe we get to the point where MMI gets an eggs of his own. Maybe we see the real dream, which is the Lich eggs and the permanent bounces. Best against Meepo.
Well, both supports on DK do have Ghost Scepters, so this will help deal with the Weaver. He can't just run at them in a teamfight with BKB and get easy kills. Weaver's going to have a tough time. He's going to get kited a lot, and this is where he wants to try to preserve this 10-second BKB as long as possible. But even with BKB up, Elder Titan, right clicks, it's all painful stuff.
Yeah, I think the eggs is the item they need, and they're going to get it. Sangshung's picked it up. Maybe this is what Newbee were waiting for, thinking, well, with the Ancient Apparition eggs, now we can force some fights. Prevent the... Because I was going to say Morphling's just very hard for them to kill compared to the Weaver. Like, I feel like Weaver, if he gets lifted by Rubik and arrowed, he'll just die before he can even BKB. Whereas Morphling, before this point, is pretty much unkillable.
And Weaver can't kill people on his own. There's triple Ghost Scepters on DK across their non-carries.
Quadruple if you want to count the E-Blade.
Yeah.
Not that Burning's worried about a man fight. He'll be fine there.
And that's where he's not going to be able to kill heroes or finish them off. Like, he may get a right click or two, but then they Ghost Scepter, they get kited around. If you're Rubik, you blink out. If you're Lich, you mech up, you Frost Arm, whatever it may be. And that's where the Ice Blast has to be landing on these heroes for kills to happen.
DK just saw the Ancient Apparition ult thrown into the Roach Pit. It did not connect, and that's just a gimme. They're going to go right in, and it's even the Ag's Ancient Apparition ult. It's like the best possible time to fight, but while that's going on, Hao is pushing top, and DK will they'll get a Roche here. Looks like uncontested, but they'll lose some tier 3 tower damage.
Yeah. Hao going to do as much as he can. Has to dodge the stomp, and he will go back in for a couple more right clicks on top of this, but he can't stay too long.
That's what happens if you waste your Ancient Apparition ult. You throw it in there to scout, and it's just a guaranteed Roche. They need it to fight.
A guaranteed Roche either way, though. Personally, like it's so tricky to defend, even with Ice Blast available. Like if you're trying to contest the Roshan pit, DK just go farm the lanes and don't go for Roshan. And as soon as they're just always going to wait till you step away to go for Roshan and be farming in the meantime. So to me, it's like DK on the Dire side with an advantage as well. It's kind of just an inevitability that they'll eventually get that Roshan.
Well, they certainly have it now, and they'll try to make use of it. Smoked up, heading up the ramp. Rotating towards the mid lane, Newbee. Waiting in position. Banana's actually in a great spot here to reveal the smoke. Hao might be the one who gets caught, though. That would not be good. Losing the Weaver to start this fight. And Lanham has a blink. If they can just get off that blink lift, break the Lincoln Sphere. Might be able to follow up and burst him down. But they'll actually head up to the Ancients. They'll take some safe farm here. No vision for DK of this, and... well, now DK is very confident. With Aegis, they can do whatever they want.
Tide's about to have a refresher. Like, he's not used to Ravage the entire game, and he's going to have a refresher. There's got to be some irony in there somewhere, LD.
Yeah, he's very fat.
Let's see if we can at least use one of these.
Well, you can't screw it up twice, right? So. I think they need a good double Ravage.
Yeah. He's going to be hitting level 16, so level 3 Ravage. Problem is with level 16, the mana cost is actually kind of hard to sustain. With the double Arcane Boots with the pressure, you can do it, but you do have some mana problems potentially.
Hao might get caught out mid lane. They're going to break the Lincoln Sphere.
Not even going for the telekinesis. That's
just like, I just want Sakuchi.
He could have done it the other way around, got a telekinesis, but unless you hit an arrow, like, you're not getting that kill. DK's next move is going to be Hexes, so I think even like someone like MMY on Lich prefers Hex to Aghanim Scepter. Well, not that I think Lich can farm a Hex this game, but who knows how long it'll go. Elder Titan probably going to be the Hex buyer, though.
Yeah, that is Ice's preferred item. He doesn't really go anything else. They don't have... Do they have a gem here? No, unfortunately not. Lanham's going to start up the fight, but the Ravage counter initiation comes through. That's Ravage number 1. Say hello to Ravage number 2, but it's only 1 kill and the Aegis down. And
yeah, full retreat, I think.
They've spent a lot just for that Rubik kill, who just says, great, you use double Ravage. I'm going to buy back. We're just going to go down mid now.
Lasso and double Ravage. Lasso is a... Actually, he's level 15 Batrider, so it's still a 70-second cooldown. That's not good.
That's all the other towers. I mean, if DK want to go for an objective, the only remaining objective is high ground.
That's where you really want to try catch Burning with that, those Ravages as well as the Ice Blast, so you can try kill him.
I think it's just the impatience factor, man. He hadn't used a Ravage in 40 minutes, you know? Yeah. You see a slight open, you're just like, I'm going for it right now.
It's still high ground defense, which is one of those things which is so hard to breach high ground without Aegis now as well. So sure, no Ravages, but there's Ice Blast again soon. Batrider Lasso 20 seconds away, and the Ice Blast going to come in, and this is going to be
That's a really good one.
Lamb's almost dead.
Here.
Gush him or something, he'll die. Hal wants to go forward, Flame Break, and a thing. Nothing. 1 Flame Break, 1 Gush. I think he dies there, but...
He's actually... Might shatter still? No, he'll be okay. Does drop quite low.
He was in range for the Gush, but I think the nighttime vision didn't give him what he needed. But a Flame Break could also hit him. Close. But at the end of the day, who cares? It's a Rubik kill. It would have been a dieback, but the main thing is they defend the high ground.
At that point, it's actually not a bad double Ravage. They get rid of the Aegis, so
yeah,
that's worth it.
Even with Ravages on cooldown, it's like, how did DK go? Go up top, so we'll see this Ice such a thorn in DK's side the more this game drags on.
Yeah, Ancient Apparition is really their second carry. It's not the Tide, it's definitely not the Bat. Those are just heroes to set up the Ancient Apparition and Weaver.
Yep.
But we'll see if he can hit good Ice Blasts. If he whiffs them, they got nothing.
Well, we'll see DK just continue. At this point, DK is probably just thinking, like, our carries almost need to get, like, closer to 6 slotted. Burning probably needs, like... I mean, he needs... At some point, he's going to have to replace this Ethereal Blade to go for, like, the Butterfly Satanic route. I think he needs either Satanic or Heart just to regen up after he gets hit by Ice Blast and stuff. He needs some form of HP regen, either from a Heart passive regen or the Satanic Lifesteal. Similarly from Mushi, I think even he's going to be needing some kind of reliable regen to deal with the... If you want to try push high ground, you're going to be getting Ice Blasted, and you need heal to negate that, at least once the effect has worn off.
Yeah, we'll see what Burning gets. He's got the money for another item now, 4.7k. I'm not a big fan of Heart on Morphlane in general. No, I think if you want like a tankier item, Satanic's definitely the way to go.
I think it's not like I don't know if that'll even be his next item, but at least some way down the road, it's like maybe a Butterfly or a Skadi first, and we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, whatever he gets, he can just go a little bit more Strength Morph, but yeah, in terms of regen, he's got to get one of those two if he wants it.
You can go Butterfly, but Weaver's probably okay getting MKB regardless. It's not like the Anti-Mage game where it's like Anti-Mage having to MKB completely cripples the Anti-Mage. For Weaver, it's like, okay. It's
in your natural progression anyway.
You'd probably prefer a Daedalus or even a Rapier, but I don't know if you want to go Rapier.
Newbee are just camping outside the tier 2. They're so close to an initiation.
They're pinging on top of them. I don't know if they realize or what. One of the things, like, when you're smoked up like that, you do, like, block creep waves. And if DK, like, have a keen eye and see, like, creep waves kind of moving around invis units, then they could theoretically know what's going on.
And it's also a pretty suspicious timing. Like, top waves at the base, nobody's fighting it, nobody's farming bottom, and nobody was showing mid either.
But they ping, like, exactly on top of, like, 4 or 5 heroes, which was like, oh, well, crazy map hacks going on, but...
They may just have Newbee figured out cold. Newbee are, I'd say, a tiny bit predictable with their smokes. They just... Anytime they're not sure what else to do, they'll just go for this 5-hero smoke.
Well, they break Burning's Lincolns. This is where a Lasso is available for the next 10 seconds, but... Not going to happen just yet.
And Burning does a buyback. That's the other thing, is the tier 2 stall. They'll go in now with the Ravage, though. Ravage number 1 on Burning. Ancient Apparition ult coming through. Burning is probably going to drop. Where's that second Ravage? He doesn't have mana for it right now. Arcane Boot's already used. He's not going to be able to get it off. It looks like the Tide Hunter, very low, probably going down here. Banana, actually the first one down. Xiao Wei barely trots away. They got Burning, and Oh, Xiaowait's gonna live, I believe. Can leap out in just a second. He's got the Blink Dagger. Go for the quick TP. Mushi unable to find him. Well, they get Morphling.
And a buyback too from Morphling. So
They get Morphling, they force out a Morphling buyback, and they lose a Shadow Demon.
yeah, they
That
kill the
looked
T2
like a-
tower too.
It looked like a disaster, because without the second Ravage, I thought they'd lose a lot more, but it worked out quite well. And there's no real trade for DK. Roche isn't up.
That timing is also just so fine. Burning's Lincoln Sphere was like 2 seconds away from coming up. Like, they broke it with the Gush. It's a 17-second cooldown. They went on him 15 seconds later. It's one of those things, like, Newbee probably... I mean, it's not like they write down the time. They just have it in their head, like, this general idea, and know that it was probably just a couple seconds timing window to get the lasso off, and they just barely got him.
Well, Burning's probably going to spend his gold now. 3.4k, no buyback for some time.
Yeah.
5 minutes from now. If he needs to buy back 5 minutes from now, he's going to need another item, because this Weaver has 6k. And Hao is going to buy his next item very soon.
Hao kind of wants to wait to see if there is going to be a butterfly for Morphling. Because if there's no butterfly, he at least not next, he probably doesn't want the MKB, but... Well, if he buys like a Daedalus, that's where Burning's like, great, I'm getting butterfly. So it's kind of like mind games between the two.
Yeah,
almost.
if you want to buy one now, you just buy an MKB.
Yeah.
They're going to go. Smoked up. Xiaowait's got that second Ravage. Is he going to go in?
No, he's just got the one Ravage. Yeah, he's used
Yeah,
the
the second Ravage. Well, he hasn't gone in just yet. Burning on the retreat out. Will Manta and continue to run, and really nobody finding a good opening
They've used
here.
BKBs, they've used Ice Blast. They do not want to fight right now.
Mushi's plinking, and they do bring down the Tidehunter. Xiaowait gets blown up, and now the chase is on. Hao on the run. Arrow cooling down soon. He's got a Sakuchi available in just a few moments' time. He's going to time-lapse and retreat to the south side, but Lanham's there to find him with a gem. He can lift. The Lincoln's cooling down in 3 seconds. Is he going to lift in time? 3 seconds to go before the lift as well. Lincoln's is online now. Lanham's going to have to break it first, unfortunately. He didn't realize it was back up, and
He thought he used the Fable. It's like, oh, no Lincolns, but it comes up in
these
between.
fights, you see 10 heroes clashing. Like, 1 or 2 heroes dies every time. Everybody else lives.
No, Ice Blast can be used to scout out Roshan, and
Unfortunately, it's too early by a couple minutes. In
yeah.
fact.
At least they get the knowledge that Roshan hasn't respawned yet, but DK now coming down the bottom lane. They popped the pipe. I guess maybe expecting an Ice Blast here, but not coming their way.
I guess in good news, now they'll have the double Ravage, so...
Yes.
Well, the fight goes south, they lose the Tide, but they do get to fight the next one with the proper double...
DK can't go high ground. I think this is time to back off. They are scanning Roshan. They put a replicate there, so...
They should just keep on pushing bottom lane and farming the enemy jungle while waiting for Roche to respawn.
Yep.
And I imagine that's what they're going to do. They just want to be careful about how they're pushing it. Like, they don't want to leave one hero who's vulnerable to getting ganked on his own. But they're just going to back off and play it super safe.
This 5k DK gold lead has been a 5k gold lead since the 10-minute mark, so it's Newbie sticking around, and considering the buybacks, like, this is one of those points. Like, if we had a little net worth graph, I imagine it'd actually be pretty even. DK have used multiple buybacks throughout this game.
Yeah, if our lovely K-pop Tosis was not slacking and sleeping right now. He's been bumming it up ever since the summit ended, and might have some cool production tools. It's great to fire shots at someone who can't retaliate.
What do we even hire him for?
I don't know.
Well, DK, I'm sorry, Newbie again on the move, and they've got a nice little observer here on the high ground, which hasn't been spotted. This is one of those gem does not find kind of wards.
Too bad Lanham's got Sakuchi, because he's always running away, and they're going to lasso an illusion. Last time this happened in, was it game 2 where the illusion got lassoed? I think it was Xiaowait's bat that game.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Well, either way, they're going into Roche?
Oh, okay.
Oh, they're really confident in their
Arrows
double
on
Ravage.
cooldown now.
They also do have this DD on Hao. Roche is dropping pretty quickly.
Tide's going to take Cheese or ages. He drops
Burning
his
jumps
TP.
in immediately, but he's a bit early to the fight, and now Hao's going to try to focus him. He just eviscerates the Shadow Demon. Then he'll make his way out. Still no opening to go here. Mushi plinking away at Xiaowei, trying to force out a Ravage, but Hao's there to defend him and force Mushi back. He has been slept up. His BKB is down now in Lanham. No lift available. Ravage number 1 flies. Ravage number 2. Let it roll. Has Lanham managed to steal it? Yes, he has. He's got a stolen Ravage. He'll turn it around. That's a big win for DK. 3 dead. They're probably finding more now. Sang Sheng on the retreat out. Burning in heavy pursuit. He's got an adaptive strike coming soon, and Sang Sheng probably going down here. One more right click. Cleaned up by Lanham. Stole the Ravage in between the double Ravage, and turns the fight on the back of it.
Ice Blast not hitting Burning there cost them, and Weaver just got too low early on the fight. Hal just couldn't stay alive in the fight. He got brought down low really early and then tried to... He man-fought, killed Mushi, but he didn't have enough to kill off Burning, and without the Ice... If Ice Blast was on Burning, I think they'd kill him as well. Although Burning... Yeah, buyback was on cooldown, so killing Burning would have been a big deal there, but...
That could have potentially been a lane of racks at that point.
Yeah. Well...
Weaver also forced to buy back as well while that was going on. So a death by Hal in the next 5 minutes is probably the end of times for Newbee.
And DK with Aegis in hand, maybe looking to force it. That they've got Burning going down the middle lane. He's alone for now, so at least DK gonna wait around. Probably wait for at least the Hex on Ice Ice Ice, which is only 500 gold away now, and that's gonna be an important item for dealing with this Weaver.
They're just in no hurry. DK have a lot of room to grow, and I mean, how much more do Newbee have? We've seen the double Ravage. Tide can't get too much bigger than this. Maybe get a Shiva's, but that's not that game-changing. Especially not against Morphling Mirana, who are very mobile, ranged carries. And I mean, Bat, he could get a Shiva's. I don't think that's that game-changing. Weaver's pretty much maxed. I feel like Newbee just don't have much more item progression, and they're not really able to win fights right now.
Yeah, and even just losing like Shadow Demon at the start of the fight unnecessarily is really costly. Like, that's no Soul Catcher on the Morphling in a fight, no Soul Catcher on anyone. Disruption's a useful tool, the Purge slow to go through BKBs. They can't afford to have like people getting kind of out of position like that. Like, Shadow Demon should not have just been in the front lines where Morphling can insta KO with the shotgun.
DK, they have Newbee where they want them, on the ropes in a deciding game number 5 for the CDEC New Star Cup Grand Finals, and well, and now it's just a matter of punching them out of the ring, and I think they've got the tools to do it. Yeah. It is a lot harder to go high ground against Newbee, though. Winning the fight in the Roche Pit is one thing, but going into the base with the Weaver... Oh, well, sorry, Weaver doesn't have the buyback, but actually, does anyone have buyback?
Double Ravage Ice Blast, though. That's
the key,
thing.
But...
Batright has buyback, and that's actually not a pretty important buyback to have.
Yeah. I feel like this fight will be over in less than 50 seconds, but you never know. We'll see. The siege begins. Not in earnest, but just very quietly, DK making their way forward. Pop the Manta, chip away. Don't overcommit to this one.
And I'd love to try and catch Hal by surprise with this Hex of theirs.
Lanham goes in. He actually still has the stolen Ravage. He's going to find Moo to begin the fight. And for the time being, no initiation from the Tidehunter. He lets one go. Is there going to be another stolen Ravage Lanham was looking for? Can't get it off. Now Burning will lose the Aegis, but he already got a killing spree. He killed off the Bat, forced out the buyback as Ice 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 makes his way forward.
Second Ravage available. The Hex onto the Tide there.
Just to make sure they can retreat safely, it looks like.
Ice Ice Ice.
Well, he's got cheese here. He may be forced to pop it. He'll pop it now. The second Ravage goes, and Lanham is just waiting. He's stolen the Anchor Smash. He's just a split-second wait this time around, but nonetheless, Chain Frost comes through. Actually, does very little. That's 2 Ravages down. They don't have a lasso. And DK, well, they don't have Aegis or cheese, so...
They got to wait for the next Ice Blast, which is 5 seconds away. Then they can try and engage into this, but this may just be a lane of Rax.
I think it's just going to be too late. Even if they kill DK, they're losing Rax first. Glyph has been used up. Burning, well, maybe not. DK are just playing this super conservative.
Ice Blast misses. They go back in now.
Yeah, every time the Ice Blast misses, it's just a free opening for DK, and they find another one here as Hal gets caught out. He'll be disrupted. Try to keep him alive, Will Banana, but the shotgun goes on him instead. Save your buddy, great. I'll kill you, says Burning, and now he gets pulled into the fountain, but he'll wave his way out. They take their first lane of Rex. DK finding the openings, collecting gems, and Ancient Apparition Chilling Touch is Lanham under the shadow of the tier 4s. He blinks away, and DK now. They're one more good fight away from taking this game. Maybe they've already taken it. At least they think so. They're pushing down mid, working on the tier 2 tower. Ravage still 80 seconds off either Ravage.
And Burning entering the 10k gold club. Flying high and...
now we know Mushi's been rubbing off on him.
Yeah.
Mushi was the only member of the 5-digit gold club for a long time.
Well, as things stand, it's Newbee in a bit of a tough spot now. These Ice Blasts are like the make or break, and the last couple from Sansheng not really landing. And also just, I mean, it's DK getting the jump on them as opposed to the previous fights where Tide did an alright job of getting a Ravage off to start off these fights.
Honestly, the Rubik still having Ravage online, I don't know if Newbee were aware of that or prepared for it. They were somewhat spread, but he walked up and got the Ravage on 2 heroes to start the fight at least, and yeah, they just got caught off guard by that. Almost gave up a second Ravage as well, which would have been really devastating.
Maul picks up an MKB, so he's more or less maxed out now without the Aegis. Could buy some Boots of Travels, but we'll hold off for the time being. I can see his buyback and then can always Boots of Travel in should he die. Which
Yeah.
it's legitimately possible against Ice Blast. Like, he's kind of open to the fact that he may go down if they focus everything on him, but he's going to just take into account that Mushi's so farmed. If they're focusing everything on him, Mushi, as well as everyone else, should be able to at least do a good job of getting some good counter kills.
Well, DK just chilling now. They don't really need to force anything. That bottom lane will slowly push in, and they can just, if they want, they can just rest at the base until it does. And Burning, well, no longer in the 10k gold club, gods.
Well,
Sad to say.
limited time offer, I guess.
Yeah. Mushi said, get out of there. That's my territory.
He's fine. That's something which... Mirana's always one of those late game carries who just silently does DPS. Like, you never really notice how much damage Mirana's doing. Those attack animations just so unnoticeable, but Mirana right-clicks hard.
She just doesn't look like a hitter the way that a Morphlane or, I don't know, Dragon Knight does, where they've got these really impressive and vivid auto attacks. It's like Plinkio. It's kind of like Sniper.
Yeah.
Like, you never notice Sniper doing damage in fights.
Yeah, I feel like...
Especially in Dota 1. Dota 1, like, you couldn't even see him half the time. Dota 2, it's a little bit more noticeable.
Also for
Silent but deadly.
For Newbee, they'll maybe try and hold on to some of these buybacks here. AA does have buyback, which I kind of like. I think it's worth holding on to that if you get caught out. Like, Ice Blast has such a short cooldown. If you're dead for 70, 80 seconds, then your team maybe just lose the game. And like you say, AA is kind of the second carry for the team in some ways.
Well, Newbee are farming outside their base, and this is where Lana might start the fight off. How? Does have a buyback available, and no, they just steal Sakuchi. Come on.
Not even going for
I
the
like how they
telekinesis.
5-man so he can steal Sakuchi and then run away.
He could be going spell still telekinesis, but he's like, look, we're not going to kill him even with that.
He's like, look, I want Sakuchi.
I think it is possible, but I think they just don't want to take a fight. Like, you get the telekinesis.
That's a good position for Newbee to counter-initiate.
Yeah,
also, Weaver can buy back in time-lapse.
Because you can set up either a Hex from Ice 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 or a Echo Stomp. Arrow's kind of hard to land because you're engaging from so far away, so you have to place the arrow too perfectly. But
they
the
do have the
Echo Stomp-
Hex on Ice Ice Ice. That's the other thing.
Well,
It's just, it's a risky play, and we've seen DK actually playing a lot safer this game, I feel. Like, they're not taking that many risks in terms of how they engage.
oh yeah, both teams. I mean, to some extent, TI's coming up, teams want to experiment a little bit, try at least a few things, but you get to Game 5 of a best-of-5 series in a Grand Final, DK is all about winning this. Not so much for the prize money, but
it's
for...
really good practice for TI, because in those high-pressure situations, like, not making mistakes and executing properly is... I mean, look at the TI3 Grand Finals, the Game 5. If Na'Vi executes properly, they win that game, and... Well, you know, it's in those high-pressure situations where even the best teams can falter.
And even just, like, looking at group stage, every single best-of-1 matters so much more now, so... pressure matters, and... I mean, for DK, just a point of pride. The Newbee bested them twice in different best-of-3s the other day. They want to take one back, get some good confidence for their team. But we'll see how they do here. It looks like Game 5 is theirs to lose.
DK firmly in the driver's seat, leading by, not that it matters that much at this point, but 15k gold, 16k experience. More importantly, they've got the Lane of Rax advantage, and they are looking at Mr. Roshan. Respawning in about a minute and a half. Newbee, not really in a position to contest this one.
Both teams, a lot of buybacks, a lot of green on the buyback tab right now. But we'll see if that's going to come into play here. Morphling does upgrade to Boots of Travel now,
and has buyback.
Yes.
The main thing now, I guess, is besides buyback, is replacing BKB he can do, and I don't really think there's much else. I think his items are pretty ideal. Maybe you could get rid of the shotgun, but it's just been so nice for killing the Shadow Demon all game long. You get another right-click damage item. He's not having issues winning a 1v1 right-click war, so I feel like he doesn't need to change his items. Mushi, similar story, could just get Boots of Travel and replace the Midas, but yeah, like you said, I think it's just all about the buyback at this point, as it usually is in 60+ minute Dota, especially Chinese Dota.
Newbee are going for the Hail Mary, the complexity smoke gank, going for a full wraparound here, and not sure the Roshan's not up yet. They're gonna go in and realize that DK are not in there, and
they're gonna seize control of the high ground, and now they make their move. Moo directly, and he finds Ice Ice Ice.
the target
That's
you
the
want.
one you want, and they're gonna get him easily. That's their first clean lasso pick off in a very long time. Arrow does connect on Sangsheng, but I don't know if they want to commit to killing him. Burning will wait forward. He'll throw out the shotgun. The disruption actually buys Burning time to getting close if he wants. He gets... was that a
That's
first?
a buyback. Elder Titan, I think Ice thought they had the AA kill, and with AA dead, theoretically DK could look to just end the game or get Roshan at least without Ice Blast. Although there is a buyback, something DK may be unaware of. But DK disengage and they force out a buyback, so good play from Newbee here. They're holding on right now.
Lose the Elder Titan again? That's a... DK, I think, are a bit stronger in the fights, but not without the Elder Titan.
You gotta be careful because Lasso's already back up, so Newbee gonna be looking for that pickoff again. Problem is right now Newbee have got to defend bottom lane, so this may just become a uncontested Roshan for DK unless someone goes back. I think they're just gonna sacrifice some of these buildings, even some tier 4 tower damage, to stick around this Roshan pit. They do not want Elder Titan grabbing the Aegis or Cheese. Mushi probably taking one as well, and that's going to be problematic for them if that does happen.
Their best option, if they want to still contest the Roche, is for, I guess, for Weaver to go there, but... no, DK can just wait this out. Newbee are going to have to find another pick very soon. Yeah. No smoke? Do they have any even available?
They're just letting creeps pound on their base. TP into the base. Burning's going to force them back. He's got a replicate.
And he's got a replicate, so they're fighting with 5.
They've used Glyph already. They've got a TP back. This is...
brilliant play by Burning, and as soon as they TP back, it's probably the Roche. Yeah. They'll even lose someone here. How might get caught out?
That's Lamb actually almost dying.
Yeah, How and Lamb both in danger
How
there.
went for the kill on Lamb, it looks like, but force out of Weaver BKB. Weaver can buy a new BKB, which is probably what he's going to be looking at right now.
Well, that's a tier 4 for nothing, just for some damage on the Rubik. Well worth it for DK, and if they just keep on just finessing it right, forcing Newbee to react, the creep advantage should be enough to secure this Roche, at which point Newbee are really up against it, but here we go. Rapier's been picked up, and Hal's done it in the pit. He wants to muscle down the Roshan quickly, using the Rapier for this purpose, and
Firefly will scare DK off right now.
They go in for the lasso, but Moo can't quite find the opening. Mushi too quick to react, although Roche falls low. Will they get off a stomp here? Yes, the Aegis Cheese already fallen. Aegis
Weaver's
snapped
low.
up
They
by
wanna back
Xiaowei.
off.
Hal gets caught out here. Can they shotgun him down? They do!
No.
He lob drops the Rapier. He doesn't have a buyback available. He's 900 gold short, and
GG.
oh, that's the game. There's just no way.
Small Thing's got boots of travel. He can just go straight for the throne if he wants to. The huge creep wave at top lane. Newbee went big. I like the decision there, but after getting Aegis, they just had to back off, and they just couldn't do so in time. Rubik is just going to keep on chasing people down, as well as mid lane. Everyone's on the run. This is all over for Newbee.
It was a gambit, and it did not pay off in the end, but I think they needed to go for something like that.
Yeah.
Newbee, we're not going to win in just a straight, safe style of play, and How, in the end, does cost this team the game there, but without something big, they weren't taking it anyway. So DK, they'll emerge, the victors. They take it 3-2. Once again, DK Newbee, it's quickly becoming the most classic Chinese Dota matchup. Used to be IG versus LGD, I'd say a year and a half ago or so, and now it's DK Newbee that's the most back-and-forth slugfest in Chinese Dota gods.
It's every time these teams play, it's a slugfest. It's the new... in some ways, I guess, a grudge... I don't know about grudge match, but it's definitely the rivalry to look out for. It's really becoming a fantastic rivalry as well. Oh, it's just a long, exhausting games. And that's where you see that last fight, like the Rapier pickup was the right decision. And if that was game 1 of a best of 5, maybe that goes better for Newbee, that last fight, because they're just not quite as exhausted. But
yeah, DK wore them down. I was impressed by DK that game because they just grinded Newbee out of the game. Like, they didn't win with a flashy, explosive play. They just outlasted them, played really patient Dota, and, well, that's what's going to be required at TI, I feel. There's going to be games like that where you just have to dig deep and wear your opponents out, and that's what DK did.
Well, that's a good boost for DK, because this is the last time these two teams will meet before TI, I believe, because the other matches, the series we have coming up, there's a few other tournaments. I don't think... Actually, no. V Games, DK, and Newbee both still, and they could meet in V Games as well.
Okay. Yeah, Newbee's already in that Grand Finals, I believe.
Yes, and DK's playing through the other half of the bracket. So, theoretically, they could meet in one more Grand Finals this week.
But this is a BO5, so this is a more epic one, I suppose. And guys, on that note, that does conclude the CDEC New Star Cup. Congratulations to Team DK. They take it. It was close. It was fierce. But they win. 3-2. They are your champions. They put yet another feather in their cap. They just seem to be winning every Chinese Dota tournament as of late. Not everyone, but if you look at overall tournaments won, they do have the most.
They're doing
right
well,
now.
yeah.
And they've also got more performances in the Western scene, which is one thing we haven't seen from Newbee. how this team stacks up against Western competition. They did beat Alliance, but outside of that, they haven't really faced the Western teams yet.
Yeah, they're going to be a bit more, I don't know, unprepared as far as match practice goes. Obviously, they'll do their homework when it comes to preparing.
It was a similar story for Tongfu last year, and Tongfu did very well anyway.
Yeah.
So, well, guys, that's going to wrap it up. It's been a long broadcast, a fun one. Hope you all enjoyed it. Do we have any more Dota today?
None today.
Okay.
We got
no good play or anything?
GST Grand Final tomorrow, so DK versus IG. Best of 5 tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll be casting that with Cinderin, actually.
Yep.
So.
Day after that, we have another Grand Finals.
Is that the V Games one?
No.
I think so. There's only 4.
Okay, so maybe V Games is the day after that. I think there's a day of V Games playoffs, and then the day after that is the V Games Grand Final.
Okay, and after that, we're done with Chinese Dota until TI4, I think. We'll just be studying replays, getting our research in, making K-pop Tosis earn his salary.
Yep.
Good times.
Good times indeed.
Guys, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed today's broadcast, feel free to subscribe to the channel, support BTS. We don't paywall our high quality content. We never would, and even if you don't, thanks for watching. We appreciate your support, guys. We will see you next time for more Chinese Dota action. Good night. Goodbye.